Good morning, everyone. Let me know once you're able to see my screen. Okay. Hi, good morning. You able to see my screen? So, as a part of modeling level, we are working on the best practices. Okay. Last time we connected with more data feed, open data protocol source system. So, I hope everyone get connected, right? No issues while connecting to the source system. You able to connect, right? Everyone. Good. So here we are working on the two of the data sets. One is sales by category, another one is a total sales amount. So I have imported two of the data sets, sales by category, on the top of it. Okay, so the sales by category table data set. We are working on some of the aggregation functions, like in which scenarios we can make use of one of the DAX object name called new measure. Okay, new measure we are currently working on. If there is any number in our data set, how we are going to perform aggregation functions, like example, sum, average, to find out the minimum value, to find out the max value, how we are going to count the number of rows in a particular column, okay, on a number. Please remember, this is a number. See here. Some count of product sales. So here we are trying to count a number of records in a particular individual column. Like that, we have a similar function, count rows. Okay. Count rows is a function to count the complete table level. It's a table function. So count is a column level function. So we have to call an individual column in a table. Count rows is a table function here. If you're trying to count the number of records, okay, number of records, maybe I have some duplicacy on the textual data. I want to find out unique, that kind of a scenario I have used distinct function inside. So inside the count rows, okay, there I have used distinct function again. Okay, category name. So example, this one. See this. Category name. So which is the textual. So here, what if you can try to use the count function? So count function will not work. Suppose if you try to use count function on the top of the number, sorry, textual data type, it will not work. Okay. It throws an error. I have showed you that error also. Okay. Count function will not work on the textual data. It will work on the number. It's a number data type. See here, data type is a decimal number, but this one category name is a text data type. Here, you can find it out. Okay. Suppose if I want to bring the distinct category names, 8 different categories are there. I can make use of count rows. Inside, I'm going to call a function name called distinct. That's what here I have used. Okay. Like that, there is one more function. Example. See here, count rows column is there, right? In the sales by category table. Suppose I want to count along with these categories, different categories. I want to count the blank data also. Assume that in this category name, blank fields are also available. Okay, I want to count the blank information, blank. In that kind of a scenario, I'm going to use count rows inside the value function. So there are two different functions. You will get an interview question as well. What is the difference between a distinct and value function? Distinct function will count the number of categories and ignores the blank. Ignores the blank. Value function counts the number of categories and also count. Okay, it will not ignore the blank values. Okay, it will count the blank categories too. If there is any blank information, it will count. Now you can tell me in this category name, is there any blank information? Did you find any blank? Responses, please, quickly. There is no blank here. Suppose if I have a blank, assume that in this category name, I have a blank. Okay, let's see the calculation. See here. Are we going to use a measure or else a calculated column? Are we going to use a measure or calculated column? Measure or new column? That's the question. In this scenario, to count the blank along with the distinct categories, are we going to use a new measure or else a new column? Measure only, okay. How it is a calculated column? New measure only, right? Just now we calculated count of category name. This is the measure. See here, calculator symbol is there. Simple. Calculator symbol is there. So here was the assumption category name field is there. Assume that in this category name we have a blank fields too. Okay, blank values as well. I want to count it. I want to count the blank along with the distinct categories. In that kind of a scenario, you are going to work with the new measure only, not a new column. You are not deriving the new column here after the fourth column, fifth column. Okay. Count category name blank. Okay. Count rows is the function, table function. See here, count the number of rows or else records in a table. Okay, inside, previously I have used the distinct function, right? This time I'm going to use the values function. So values function. So what is the use of it? It will count almost similar to the distinct function. Distinct of categories, it will revert. Okay, it will get the output. Along with that, it will count the blank values also. Okay, that is important. Category name. Close the bracket. Validate it. Validate. Convert it to another chart. 1 second. Same output only. This is it. This is it. Suppose if I have some blank data, what is the output for this? If I have a blank or else a null data in this category name, what should be the output here? You can tell me. Here, this one. Responses, please. You got it right. So distinct function is going to count the distinct of category names, unique category names, that is 8, correct? And it will ignore if there is any blank data. Okay, if there is any blank, it will not countable. Okay, it will ignore. So this one is count of category name including blank. Suppose if you have some blank data, blank info on this category, it will count 8 categories, 8 different categories that we have, along with blank information +1. 9 is the output. Okay. But as of now, we don't have any blank there. Got it? Tell me quickly.
So how do we know that which function to use, the distinct or value? I
Correct.
understood formula, but I did not get to know how you differentiate which formula to
Suppose
use.
in our requirement, assume that in the requirement, okay, assume that from the database itself, you are getting some blanks. And you want to report the blank values along with the count of categories. Okay, that is the requirement. Why you are ignoring like that? We will get some questions. You want to count the blank information along with the distinct categories. In that type of a scenario, you are going to use, is that a value function or is a distinct function? Now you have to decide. It's a value function will give the output categories along with the blank. Suppose maybe my requirement, okay, in the report level, I want to ignore the blank data. My end user is expecting to see the distinct count of categories only. He's not bothered about the blank values. In that kind of a scenario, are we going to use the distinct or as a values now? Now you can tell me which function you are going to use it. If you want to showcase only blank values, then we have to use some other function, count blank rows. Okay. There is one more function, count blank rows is there. I will tell you that functions too. But as of now, Vishwati, which function we are going to use it? You want to report only distinct and ignore the blank values. That is your requirement. In that kind of a scenario, you have to use distinct function. Okay. Ignore the blank and count the unique records. So that's what here I have projected with, see here, down. Using the COUNTROWS plus value, return the output in the context. If you had any blank cells, blank category names, value function, values, COUNTROWS inside we have a value function, acts differently from the distinct. And the value function recognize the blank cells along with unique category. But distinct function is going to ignore if there is any blank cells. Okay, it will ignore where it is not going to count the blank values. Okay, and the interview prospect, you will get a query on values and distinct function. Okay, what's the difference between values and distinct? In simple manner, values is going to count almost similar to the distinct, and it will count the blank info, blank cells. Distinct function, it gives the distinct of categories, okay, unique values, and ignores the blank info. Got it now? Is that clear? It's all depends upon the requirement, okay, which we are going to get it, which we are going to showcase to the front-end user. If they're asking us to count the blank with individual category cells, then we can use values. If they're looking over only distinct categories, then we have to make use of distinct function, ignoring the blank. That's it. Is that clear to you? Yes, no? Fine. Next part. See here. Tell me.
So I wanted to ask you one more thing. So the calculation part, whatever we do, we show it only in the report side. We don't used to use the Power Query desktop, right?
Correct. Correct.
Okay.
Calculation part in the sense number related activities. This is a
Oh,
number. Correct.
yes.
That
Yes.
suppose next we are going on to the new column or as a calculated column. That activities we can showcase in the query editor. I mean, best approach is suggestible approach is the query editor. That's part we will discuss in the coming. Okay, coming next scenarios.
Okay.
Number part. If there is any number related fields, then we can make use of simple trick, okay, to remember in which scenarios I can use the new measure. If there is any number and you want to showcase the output in that kind of a scenario, we can make use of new measure. Example, aggregation functions, sum, average, min, max, or else a count, mean, mains, okay. These kind
Yes.
of calculations, we can make use of a new measure.
Okay, got it.
Next, see here. So I'm taking the next page, new page. So product name is there, which is by default is a text. I'm getting in the form of a table chart. This is the default chart is table chart. Table chart. Default chart for the text is the table chart. Category name. I'm just trying to drag and drop. So these are the different categories, 8 different categories. So requirement is from the end user friend. You don't want to visualize these two, okay, these two, which I have drag and drop onto the reporting canvas. Let me convert to a this chart to a slicer chart, okay, slicer. By default, it is a table, right? Let me convert to a slicer chart, okay, slicer. And this one is also one more slicer, slicer chart. From the business, okay, from the business point of view, the requirement is they don't want to split the product name and category name separate slicer, and they want to make use of both these categories as a one single slider. Okay, they want to concatenate or else combine these two separate slices as a single slicer. How can we do that? How can we do that? I want to combine product name and category name as a one single slider. How can we do that? As of now, two different slices I have pasted or else projected on the canvas, reporting canvas. I want to make use, get this product category name. Okay, product name is separate, category name is separate. I want to get product category name as in one single slicer. So how can we bring it? Can someone please help me? Yes, concatenate means is that going to be a measure or else a calculated column? Now it is your turn. You have to tell. Concatenate in the sense is that going to be a calculated column or else measure or new measure? I mean, calculated table. Which one we are going to make use of it? No, why it is a append transformation is coming here. Here the requirement. What I'm saying, I want to combine these two. Like, see here, see here. Product name is chai. It is coming under beverages. That means chai hyphen beverages. Chang. One more product name chang hyphen beverages. Okay, like that. Understood, right? I don't want to append it. Append in the sense it will become underneath of this category name. Why do I append? I just want to combine these two category name and product name as a one single field to report it as a single slider. In that kind of a scenario, you are going to make use of new column. Okay, new column. Click on the new column, calculated column, giving the name as everyone understood or else still any confusion, like a combined values. So here we are currently working on the DAX part, calculated column. So the requirement I have explained to you. As of now, two separate individual fields are there, category name and product name. I just want to combine it, concatenate product under category name as product category name. Because I want to report it as a single slider. Category name is equal to, we are already aware of it. Either we can use the concatenate function or directly we can make use of columns. Product name. What is the operator we can use it here? Which operator we are going to use it? Combine values also fine. That is also one more function. What is the operator here I'm using for concatenate? Operator. Ampersand ampersand. So hyphen separator I'm using, ampersand, category name. Okay, validate it. You'll get this one, and we can make use of this particular new category as an one slider, product category name. Convert to a slicer chart. Okay. Everyone, is that clear to you? Is this clear, or else still any confusion? Clarity is required. Okay. One more requirement. So see here, product sales are there. Okay. Product sales. By using this product sales, if it is less than 5,000 value, so as per my observation, more than 5,000 a value is there, 49,000, 7,000, 5,274. So by using this product sales, I want to define a condition. If it is greater than 5,000, larger sales. If it is less than that, 5,000, smaller sales. Okay. That means I want to define the limit or else some new field based by taking the reference of this product sales. I want to define a new field. If my product sales is greater than 5,000, I want to define it as a category of larger sales, larger product sales. If it is less than that, less than 5,000, I want to differentiate with a smaller category, smaller product sales. Now you can tell me, how can we define this? How can we get these categories, that is a smaller and larger? Is that by using a calculated column or else a new measure? That means you have to define a new column here, right? You have to take the reference of the product sales. You are going to use it. And there we are going to define the condition. If product sales is greater than 5,000 large, less than that, obviously it is a smaller. Try to use the new column. Click on the new column, calculated column again, giving the name as something like category type. Type is equal to if product sales if product sales greater than or equal to 5,000. See here, the if statement, if logical test. So here I'm trying to pass the logical test is sales by category, product sales is my column, greater than or equal to 5,000. And the result, if it is greater than or equal to 5,000, result is large category, large type, comma. If it is failure, if it is not meeting the condition, small type. Close the bracket, validate it. You got it right? It's again a new column. You are taking the reference of a field, that is a product sales, existing field. And here we are defining the condition. If it is greater than or equal to 5,000, large type. If it is less than that, obviously is a false condition, small type. So this particular category, I'm going to use it in my requirement, or else maybe as per the values, I'm just trying to use a categorical differentiation, large type or else a smaller type. Got it? See here. Let me add the field. Category type. This is one more. I'm going to use this particular category is also one more. Slicer chart. Okay. Able to see, right? There is some change. Maybe this particular slicer, if you can try to add in my first page. See here. Let me change it to slicer chart. Values are changing. Smaller type. So total product value is getting changed. Max value. or else a min value. All the values are getting changed. So as per the requirement from this existing field, we are defining one more condition by using a calculated column or new column approach. That is a large type or else a small type. Okay. So in which scenarios we can make use of calculated column means if you are working on defining a conditions, example just now if class I have defined. If you are trying to create a new column by taking a reference of existing field, like example concatenate approach, concatenation, I can make use of calculated column. Okay. Suppose I have a number, I want to make use of aggregated functions. In that kind of a scenario, are we going to use calculated column? Like example, new column. See here. Shall we use a sum of here? Sum of. It will work. It's showcasing the suggestions too. Can we use in the calculated column sum of any category? You can tell me. Is that the right approach? Like product sales. Can we call this product sales here? Is this the right value? You can tell me this is the total value for each and every row. Or else maybe the aggregation functions, or else time intelligence functions, which is related to date. We cannot use it. Number part and time related, that means date related part, we cannot make use of calculated column. Only a measure is the right approach. This is very, very important on the interview prospect. For the number related, we always make use of measure. If you are trying to derive a new column, in which scenarios means, as I said, if you are working on the condition by taking the reference of existing field, like I have derived the category type by taking the reference of product sales. I have derived concatenation by taking the reference of existing fields only. See here, I'm calling the product name as well as the category name. So in such scenarios, we can make use of calculated column, new column. Important, please remember. Observing, right? You are seeing the differences too. This column is incorrect. Okay. Suppose I want to calculate the percentages. Are we going to use a calculated column or else a new measure? Percentage, is that a number or else a text? You have to think and tell me. To calculate the percentage, are we going to use a calculated column or else a measure? Good. New measure. For always remember, if it is a metric, if you are working with the metric, instead of using the calculated column, please make use of new measure. Okay, it's important. Just to deleting this column. That's what is the conditions are also comma separate. I just use the calculated column approach here. New column, so it's a column tools, it should be visible to you. New column I have used, new column or calculated column. So the sales category type. If my sales category product sales is greater than or equal to 5,000, large type or small type, it's a condition. Okay. This one also we define product category name. So ampersand. So there is some other functions to concatenate function we can use it, or as a combined value function is there. So I'm just using very simple function ampersand operator wise. I'm trying to concatenate two of the fields, category product name and the category name. Okay. Fine. Next one. Important. Please observe here. I'm moving on to the another table. So some of the DAX functions we have worked on the sales by category. Sales total by amount, another table. Okay, just moving here. Let me explain the table also. Sales total by amount. So here, if you're observing, sales amount is there, order ID, company name, shipping date. I'm going to ask you some questions too. Sales amount. Suppose if I want to get the total of the sales amount, how can we get this? Can I use this existing field? Sales amount 291.03K. This is the total value. Is that a good approach to make use of the sales amount directly or else implicit measure or something else? How can we get this number? Is there any other approach? Instead of making use of existing field sales amount, is there any approach? The same number we can achieve it by using a new measure. So why it is not required, sir? What is the purpose? Why again you have dragged and dropped? So sales amount 291.03K it is coming up. So as of now, the record count is very small, 66 records. And I'm getting the 291.03K, K for thousands. Suppose if I have the millions of record, like 5 million records, to get the same value, okay, to get the sales amount value from that particular column, it will impact my performance. So instead of using this implicit measure, implicit value, existing field from the table, I'm going to create an explicit measure. So this total value, the sales amount value, will be get stored in the form of a cache from that explicit measure. How to do that? Click on this new measure, select the new measure, giving the name as total sales amount. Okay. Sum of value only. Aggregation function is sum of sales amount. Close the bracket. Validate it. Okay. Call this explicit measure. Same only. Okay. Fine. Let me drag and drop the company names, which is in the textual data. Convert to a slicer chart. Important, please observe. This functionality is very, very important. See here, this is the overall value. So 291.09 is the total sales amount for all the company listed here down. Okay. Let me remove this. See here, these many companies are available. This 291.03K thousand is the overall all the companies list value. Maybe if I want to see the Eastern connections, 3.06K. Okay, that is the total sales has been generated by Eastern Connection. Ernest and Handel, another company name, 36.56. Let me get the full value. Okay, so that should be very clear. See this 36,543.46 final total value it is. So that is the Ernest and Handel total. Let me check some other companies too. Maybe I'll just write it down. Fixed up 54,621 is the total sales amount that has been derived by this company. Okay. So whenever, if I'm trying to filter some category here, my total value is getting changed. Correct? Your total values get changed. So your requirement is one more example. I want to see exclusively one of the company's total sales amount. I don't want to get it filtered. I want to see exclusively one company's sales data, sales value. Example, Ernest and Hand, this particular company, total sales amount, that is 36,543.46. How can we get this happen? Understood, right? As of now, the data is getting filtered as per the company name selection, but exclusively you have to define one new card to get this number 36,543.46. How can we get this? In such scenarios, okay, in that type of an examples, instead of using any backend activities, right, in the query editor, in such type of a scenarios, we are going to use a function name called calculate. Okay, calculate is again one more DAX function where we are going to pass two parameters at a time. One for expression and the another parameter is for data filtration. Okay, calculate is the function I'm going to use. Inside the function, calculate function, two parameters I need to pass. One for expression, another is for data filtration. Now you can tell me, to get this number right, Ernest and handle 36,543. Now, are we going to work on the column level or else on the complete value part? Is that a number level we are going to work, or else say you are going to derive some new column? You can tell me that. Let's try to derive it later. To get this number 36,543, are we going to use a new column or as a new measure? New column, new measure. We have to get to know the difference between a calculated column and the new measure. So that's why I'm fully focused on this. So expecting some answers here. It's again a number only. We are working on the number part. Okay, number. And also we are trying to filter the data. So filtering the data for this Ernest and Handel, this company name. So as I said, I'm going to use a function name called calculate. So you are working on the number level. So we have to make use of a new measure only, not a calculated column. So we have to get that type of, conclusion. We have to use not a calculated column. We have to derive this output by using a new measure. So new measure, giving the name as company name, I will try to provide Ernest Handel total sales. Total sales is equal to, as I said, calculate is the function. So calculate is a function which we are going to pass two parameters at a time. One is an expression, another one is the data filtration. So see here, filter 1, 2, 3 and so on until as per our requirement needs. So the expression is total sales. So instead of again calling the sum of sales amount, I can reuse it. I can reuse it my explicit already derived measure, that is total product sales. Is sorry, total this one, right? Total sales amount, not this the first one. I can reuse my explicit measure. I don't want to use again sum of sales amount, sales amount. I can reuse my explicit measure, sales amount, total sales amount. Okay, comma. Here the data filtration is the field we have to consider, that is company name. Company name is equal to, see here, the filter 1. Try to give the exact name, okay? Ernest Handel. That is my first filtration, double inverted quotes. Close the bracket, validate it. Try to drag and drop. Get the full number. Is that the value is matching or else something different? Is this both are same? Suppose if I'm trying to select other companies, is this the value is getting changed? You can tell me. So this is a filter data. So with the help of a measure, I can filter the values too. So here, with the help of a calculate function, first I have passed expression, and the next I have filtered one more parameter I have used for the data filtration. And the filtration is the company name is equal to Ernest and Handel. So this is the one. Suppose if I'm trying to select any of the company, is this values get changed? No. This is exclusively one company, that is Ernest and handles total sales. Okay, we cannot see here. It will not get changed. Is that clear? In such scenarios, okay, if you want to bring an output of particular individual column, particular values, we can make use of calculate function. Here also we are again still using the numbers only. Okay, total sales is the number, and the data filtration part we have used company. Okay, important function. Calculate is a very, very important function which we can use regularly here. Okay, calculate, this is my first parameter. Okay, expression, this is an expression, number. And the second parameter, you have used company name. Like that, maybe if you want to add few more parameters, we can add filter 1, 2, 3, and so on until our requirement needs. Okay, that's what here I have explained. Calculate will accept two parameters at a time. One is for expression, another one is for the data filtration. On the expression part, we have to make use of aggregated functions. Already I have created one aggregation explicit measure, that is my total sales value. I can reuse it. Okay, the advantage of creating the measures are we can reuse it on some new calculations. Important, please remember. So see here, again, instead of defining the sum of sales amount, this is my explicit measure, right? Agree with the statement or not? This total sales amount is my explicit measure. Here it is. So sales total by amount, total sales amount in the square bracket. Is that correct or not? Are you following? Total sales amount, which is an explicit measure. Correct? Suppose example, if I haven't created this total sales amount, I have to use the sum function here. Sum of sales amount. Sales amount. Close the bracket. Validate it. If you haven't created the explicit measure, inside the calculate, you have to pass the expression, that is aggregated function sum of sales amount. Same value only. Understood? Is that clear? Everyone, is that clear to you? It's important. I can reuse it. Okay, why it is reused in the sense? Because again, the backend functionality should be something like it has to aggregate the total value and data will be get filtered by using the another parameter. So instead of again passing the sum of calculation, the aggregated function, I can reuse it. Total sales amount. So this table information is also not required because table measures will not stored in a table, right? It's a cache. It will be get stored in the form of cache. I can remove the table, validate it. Measures, this is the explicit measure. Is that stored permanently here in sales total by amount? You can tell me, is the total sales amount will be get stored permanently in the same table or else movable? So that's why I have removed it. It's movable. That's what I said, right? As of now, it is stored in sales total by amount. Maybe I can move to some other new table too, like sales by category, like this. Got it? Measures or explicit measures are movable. Suppose if it is available in this way, what will happen? See here, it throws an error. So I'm showcasing all the approaches, all the things. Please observe here. Total sales. See here. I have used in one of the calculation the table information along with my explicit measure. Suppose this measure, right, total sales amount. See here. This measure, if I can move to another table, it throws an error. See here, see this. So If you are using any new calculation, that explicit measure, don't call this table. It's a bug actually. Okay, it's one of the bug in the query. I mean, in the DAX part, we have to remove it manually. It's a bug. Validate it. Once you create an explicit measure, table information is not required. You don't need to call the table. You can directly call this explicit measure. Got it? Everyone clear, right? Or else maybe if I'm going fast or else something, please tell me. Clear about this? Response, please. Fine. Like that example, see here, I have a shipping date. Shipping date column is there. Instead of using the existing field from the sales total by amount, existing field, I want to create a dedicated date table. So I don't want to use the shipping date column inside one of the tables, sales total by amount. I want to create a dedicated date table, separate date table. So in such scenarios, are we going to use, I'm going to give an options. Is that a calculated column? Is that a measure or calculated table? I want to define a new table. You can tell me which option we are going to use. Shipping date is already available in this table, sales total by amount. Okay. I want to create a new, okay, by taking the reference of shipping date, I have to create a new table, okay, which maybe I'm going to define the year as a separate column or as a month number, month name, and so on. I don't want to impact the existing sales total by amount table. I want to create it as a separate date table. In such scenarios, we are going to use calculated table or new table. Let's try to create a new table. See here, new table. Giving the name as date is equal to, using the next line, using the shift enter, calendar is the function, so here we have to pass two parameters, that is a start date comma end date. Okay, start date comma end date. So I want to fetch first non-blank date of start date. I mean, from the shipping date, I'm going to take the reference. First, see here, first date, that is the first non-blank date from the shipping date. Close the bracket, that is my start date. And the end date, I'm going to call last date. Last non-blank date returns the value of last, which is not a blank information. Okay, that is also shipping date. I'm calling it as a reference, shipping date. Close the bracket. It's very important. So in real time as well, if there is no separate date table, you have to take the reference of any one of the field to get it done. Okay, we need a separate date table here in any project. Why it is required means, if you are working on the time intelligence related function, it is mandatory. What is this time intelligence function means? If you're working on the date related, like example, I want to see the total sales value for current year sales, that is example 2023 value, and I want to compare it with the last year 2022 sales. Is that going to be a date related or else something else? If you're trying to compare current day sales with the last year day sales, same day sales, is that going to be a date related or something else? 25th 9 2023, this is the sales value, assume that 1000. What is the last year at the same time? Is that going to be a date related or else something else? That's the question. Date related only, right? Okay, so in such type of a scenario, if you are using the existing field from a table, which is going to be not suggestible. We have to derive a separate date table. So that's what I'm doing. So with the help of a new table, calculated table, I'm trying to take the reference of the shipping date and deriving a new date table. So from here, from this date, I can try to extract the 1997, which is an year. I can extract the month number, month name, and also maybe the quarter information. I can try to derive it. How we are going to do that? So see here, from this date, I want to extract the year. Which year it is? 1997. As per the data set 1997, I want to extract the year as a separate field. To get this done, new column, click on the new column to extract it. Okay, from the date related, I'm extracting the year, giving the name as year is equal to year function is the direct function year date table date column. Close the bracket, validate it. It's an year. See this. We have an information for only 1 year, 1997. Like that, I want to extract the month number. The first one, see here. First one is the month, day, year. I want to extract month only, month number, which is the number. How can we extract it? Is that a new column or is it a new measure? You can tell me this quickly. Are we going to extract from the date field, date table? Are we going to use, is that a calculated column or is a new measure? It's not a measure related, right? You are not doing any aggregation functions. You are trying to extract some value from the existing field. So let's try to derive the new measure, new column, or else a calculated column, giving the name as month number is equal to simple. What is the function here? Which function we are going to use? To get the month, for year I have used the year function. To get the month, which function it is? To get the year, I have used the year function. To get the month number, previously manufacturing project I have showcased. Month only, right? See here, simple functions only. See here, month function. Month of date table, date column. Close the bracket, validate it. This is a number 1 to 12. So let's try to extract. So as of now, it's a number, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on, 2 to 12. I want to see this number as a textual data, like 1 stands for January, 2 stands for February, textual information. Understood, right? As of now, you have defined the month number. I want to get this as a textual information, that is Jan, Feb, okay, March, and so on. How can we get this? Again, a new column, click on the new column, giving the name as month name is equal to, please focus here. I will try to make use of a format function. Why format function is requirements? I want to convert that date data type to the text data type. Text. I'm expecting from the text. As of now, this date column is the date data type. I want to get the value output as a textual information. Okay, the value part, see here, format value. I'm going to call the value as a date table date column, comma. What is the format you are expecting? I'm expecting from the date table date column month only, month. That is 1, 2, 3, which is a number. I want to get in the form of a text like a January, February, March. To get this done, here the format level, double inverted quotes, use the 3 M's. Okay, 3 M's. No need to call the month. Okay, don't call like this. Use the 3 M's, which is a keyword. 3 M's. Close the bracket. Validate it. Okay. 3 M stands for the first 3 words. Suppose maybe I'm not interested with the first 3 letters. First 3 letters, Jan. I want to see the full word of it. January, April, August, December. I want to see the full word of it. I don't want to see the first 3 letters. You are seeing the first 3 letters only, right? I'm interested to report in my visualization the complete word. In that kind of a scenario, we can just try to change from 3Ms to the 4Ms. It's again a keyword. Do you feel is that an easy or else something difficult to remember? You can tell me. I'm explaining based on the scenarios. Is that clear to you or else some complexity is there to understand? Try to respond please in the chat. Everyone, if you're projecting 3Ms, it's the first 3 letters of the month, Jan, Feb, March. If you want to see the full word, then we can use 4Ms here. Why format function is required? Why this function is required means we are converting this date value to the text. Okay, the value text is month we are expecting. So that's why on the value part I have projected with 3Ms or 4Ms. Understood? Is that clear to everyone? This column is clear? Shall I derive one more column? So I'm trying to define the date table here. Date column is there. Year is separate column. Month number. Maybe I'm going to use this month number in my visualization. Month name. I'm going to define it. So I'm using the month name. Okay. Let's try to define the quarter field also. Okay. Quarterly analysis. New column again. Quarter. Number. Direct function. Quarter. Okay. Quarter function is there. Date column. Date from the date table, validate it. It's a number. See here, 1 to 4. In each year, we have a 4 quarters. 4 quarters are there. Okay, fine. But my requirement is instead of representing it as a number, Q1, 2, 3, 4, I want to visualize it as an Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. Quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. How can we do that? Again, one more time. New column. Is equal to. So we are trying to convert from the date to the quarter. Now you can tell me which function we are going to use. Which function here? We are trying to convert from the date format to the quarter, which is the text Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. Which function we are going to use it? Format only. Okay, format. I will showcase you with the help of format function and one more approach too. Okay, another simple approach. Format date table, date column, comma, here. This is important. Okay, here we have to call with double inverted quotes slash oblique Q, capital Q, close the bracket. Okay, so Q1, so sorry, this one is also upper QTR. Let's try to add in this way. QTR 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, like this. This is one approach. Format function wise we can define it. Another simple trick I can showcase to you. So this is my quarter, right? Quarter value 1, 2, 3, 4, correct? So before itself, I can try to use some textual data like example, QTR, okay, double inverted quotes, ampersand. It's a simple approach, right? Which one is comfortable to you? You can tell me. In these two, quarter name and quarter number, which one is more comfortable? Either by using a format function or else just by adding QTR before to this quarter. I mean, just a trick, okay? Everyone following or else any complexity to understand? Tell me quickly. Is this going to be a simple to you or else this one is fine? Either both of the approaches correct output, but my suggestion is anyone you can use it, okay? There is no such here. Either you can define by using a very simple approach QTR, or with the help of format function /QTR space Q. Q for quarter. Okay. Don't use here M. Okay. M or else a triple M, something like this. It will not work out. Okay. Like this it will come. Got it? It's a quarter. We are expecting the quarterly data, quarterly statistic. Fine. You want me to stop up to this part, or else shall I continue? Everyone, please respond, please. Here. You want me to continue, or else you want me to stop up to this? Enough? But I'm stopping up to this part. Okay. Tomorrow we will continue from here. Okay. Few more new columns we are going to derive. Okay. In this date related. So we will discuss that. I'm stopping up to this part. Any queries? Do you have any queries? Any queries? Don't wait. If you have any queries, right, please raise your hand. Okay, I'm ready to help. Even I'm ready to repeat. Okay. Thanks for joining. We'll connect tomorrow. I will share you all these functions. Okay, Priya. There is a list of functions which will be helpful. Regular users functions. I will share you all these functions which is regularly used in the report level, so that it will be handy to you. Okay. Thanks for joining. Have a nice day.